So I made a video a while back about being behind the church and looking for maple trees because Tim Beeman went, "Hey, do you have maple trees back there?" And I said, "I don't know, I'll go check." And I went and checked, and I had no idea what I was looking for. And I was out in the middle of the woods in the middle of winter, and maybe there was, maybe there wasn't. I couldn't tell. So anyways, we're camping, and Tim says, "Oh, that's a hemlock tree." And I'm like, "Ooh, it's a hemlock tree. How do you know it's a hemlock tree?" And he started explaining why it was a hemlock tree. And then he pointed out, this is a black maple or a red maple or a purple maple. I don't know. There's a variety of maple trees. And he's pointing out maple trees. I'm like, okay, there's a maple tree. And it's interesting as they're going through the woods, Tim knows his trees, and Tim can, that's this tree, that's that tree, and whatever. And trees, there's so many different trees. But here's the thing too, not every hemlock tree looks exactly like the other hemlock tree. I mean, some hemlock trees are tall and some hemlock trees are short. Pine trees are the weirdest ones because sometimes, and spruce, I mean, depending on the environment, they'll grow different. Sometimes a cedar tree will grow over and out, and they grow to accommodate their environment so that they can flourish, which isn't a bad thing. But just because they took on a different shape doesn't make them a different tree. A pine tree, no matter what shape it is still a pine tree. They said, you know what the difference between a cedar tree and a cedar bush? One you trim. And a cedar tree, if you trim it, will stay a bush, I guess. I don't know. I'm not much into trees and stuff, but so I've been told. But it doesn't change the fact that a cedar tree is a cedar tree. You know, a lot of times with different denominations, and people have said, you know, Tim, you're more Pentecostal than you are Baptist. Or, you know, and a friend of mine saying, you know, Tim, the Catholics need people like you and whatever. And some people get really uptight with that, and they say, oh, well, wouldn't you be compromising your faith? And it's like, well, you know, I look at it like this. We're all pine trees. Some trees have grown one direction to flourish, and other trees have grown in another direction to flourish, but they're all rooted in the same soil. They're all rooted, and all have the same foundation, which is Jesus Christ. Paul said there's one foundation that has been laid, and that is Jesus Christ, but we're all building on it. Now, he's using that to reference how we build: gold, silver, precious stones, wood, hay, and stubble. But he doesn't say that if you're doing it right, these are the quantities of gold, these are the quantities of silver, and these are the quantities of precious stones. They're all going to be in different balances. They're all going to, but the one thing has value and one thing doesn't. Now, here's the one thing that has value. The one thing that has value is that we love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and with all your strength. And we've talked about this. If you love God with everything, how do you love your neighbor? You love your neighbor out of your love for God. And that is the determining factor. If you do not love, you do not know God, for God is love. If you can't love somebody, that means that you can't love God in that capacity. It's crazy, because we love out of our love for God. But some people are their faith expression is going to look like a tree going that way. Some people's faith expression is going that way. Some is going to be tall, some are going to be short, some are going to have full branches, some just branches on the top. Doesn't make any difference. We're all pine trees. We're all serving the same God. There's one God, one baptism, one Lord, one Spirit. There's one God. And as we serve that God, as we reflect that God, doesn't matter whether it's a Catholic expression, doesn't matter if it's a Baptist expression or a Pentecostal expression. If we're rooted in our faith in Jesus Christ, if we are rooted out of our love for God, if we are grafted into the vine and we are in the vine bearing fruit, then we're in faith. So, to all my pine trees out there, God bless you. And I don't care what shape you're at. I don't care how you're growing. I don't care what direction it is. If we're all rooted, we all have the same Savior. We all have the same faith. And I want to bless you. So God bless you.